Hello, friends. We are looking into 2024 now, and to understand what's going to happen in commercial real estate and lending for the next year in 2024, let's talk about the main highlights that happened in 2023. Raj, what happened in this year, and how's that going to affect 2024?
Well, I think we saw a big slowdown in strata, huge slowdown in strata, and the start of bigger construction projects. I think we've seen a shift towards rental development just because of the market,
Right.
and the way things went with interest rates, and then how the rental market is being subsidized on new construction with the GST rebates,
Right.
as well as the CMHC construction loans being offered. That's really grown that market segment.
The MLI Select program would fall underneath
Well,
that? Or?
yes, absolutely. So I think that rental aspect of the market is really getting tackled, but I don't think it's actually making a difference in terms of the increased amount of housing that's still required. There's zero to no benefits on the development side of strata stuff. Should there be? Maybe. You know what I mean? If we need more units, maybe that's something that the government needs to address, as opposed to just addressing rental, because
Right.
I don't think that's sustainable.
Got it.
But we'll see in 2024. Now I've seen now towards the end of the year in Toronto, where the actual appraisals of the pre-construction have not come back.
Right.
And the only option for the developers is to give vendor takebacks to make up the difference.
As a developer.
That's unprecedented, for the most part. But it's going to be interesting to see, how well the Toronto, Ontario market weathers this storm. I think the BC market has weathered some storms over the past, but there's a really intrinsic demand and value to the real estate here.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think it was necessarily as much in Ontario.
Right.
And we're seeing the strong effects of that now.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that transitions into 2024, which is the more resilient market, right? Ontario or BC, and I think BC will come out on top, as it always has.
That'll be interesting. And so to summarize, there were a lot of new government incentives. There were lots of announcements we saw in the news in the last quarter of the year. Whether or not that will help with supply and with pricing to be determined. Going into 2024, and specifically, we talked a lot about multifamily and residential, but in terms of the industrial real estate, for example, and people that are looking at more the industrial angle or other assets of commercial lending and, of course, asset classes. For 2024, what asset classes are you bullish on, and then where do you see rates going commercially moving into this new year?
I think in 2024, I'm bullish on all asset classes in real estate. I think that the effects of what the Bank of Canada was trying to do with inflation have been felt, and I think that there's a little bit of room to go, but not a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that when we come around from this and we get into an interest rate decrease environment, these prices are going to shoot back up, and you're going to look at those COVID spikes as like a new norm of level of a bottom for the value. So I think in all asset classes it's going to go up. Industrial, it's been a little bit stagnant because of the interest rates,
right?
But the demand is still there and the supply still isn't. Same thing you could say with housing. So I think in all these asset classes, once we turn into an interest rate reduction environment, sky's the limit on where they can go.
A big part of what we do is also allow to bridge slow approval periods to win deals, of course. And also it's a high loan to value. And we talked to one of our realtor partners recently about going up to 95%, almost 100% loan to value for business owners that are kind of cash strapped. What are some high leverage strategies that you think will be especially useful in 2024 to scoop up whatever properties we think are going to make sense for clients?
If through this economy your business has been in an industry that's not affected or has been booming, then it really is just to get your own house in order, get your financials together, get to looking, because of all the people that aren't bankable in this interest rate environment, you still are.
Right.
Because you have cash flow and you're growing. So if you're able to show that cash flow, and then you can leverage that cash flow to get higher leverage financing, and you could potentially get into a property now where you might be getting a deal as opposed to buying it in 6 months.
Right.
Leverage that cash flow potentially with little to no down payment.
Right.
Utilize that property for your business. Now is probably the best time to do that.
Right.
And that market segment will increase in value, no question about it. when everything else does as well, with everything else, once the interest rates start to crisis.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really interesting gap to get in early before the market reacts, perhaps in a unproportional way. Any last thoughts for especially our, our friends, our realtor friends or accountants who are dealing day in and day out with these business owners? How can they add more value to their clients in 2024 for property acquisition and getting more liquidity from banks?
Biggest thing is keep your house in order, right?
Right.
Talk to your accountant, have a strategy, speak to them about what you want to do. It's not necessarily about, oh, how do I save all my money on taxes? I don't want
Right.
to pay any taxes, but like, look, I want to buy a property.
Don't play
I want to
offense.
get into that and be more a little bit aggressive with what you
Right.
can do with your financials, right? Because right now, you could arguably say it is a completely buyer's market, right? Will it be
Yeah.
like that in 6 months? Probably not. We'll see.
Got it. Thanks for your insights, and for our friends out there, reach out anytime, and thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.